Hi there, welcome back to the YouTube channel. It's the final deck of the week and we're going back to the Living Energy Commander deck that's coming out with this set because there's one legend in that deck that really doesn't fit in with that deck as a alternate commander, but it is one of the cards I think we really do need to talk about because whenever Nissa turns up it tends to be good, and this one seems to be no exception to that rule. So Nissa, Worldsoul Speaker, 3 and a green for a 3/3 legendary elf druid. Has landfall. Whenever a land you control enters, you get 2 energy. And then you may pay 8 energy rather than pay the mana cost for permanent spells you cast. Yeah, okay then. Yeah, so basically you get a whole load of energy. Instead of paying the mana cost of your cards, you can just pay the 8 mana energy and cast them that way. Okay, this is good. We like landfall. Green is good at landfall. We know this. And yeah, this is a bit of a no-brainer deck for today. But I'm going to cover it anyway because I think it's going to be good. So here we go. Here's what today's deck really is all about and looks like. So, starting at the beginning, Elorious Shepherd to stop all our green spells being countered. And since we're in a mono-green deck, get this down early. Nothing's going to be touched ever. Birds of Paradise for some ramp. Gold Vein Hydra to do the whole X and get a whole load of treasures when it dies off. Green Belt Rampager comes into play. You get 2 energy. If you can't, you have to pay 2 energy. If you can't, you have to return it to its owner's hand and get an energy. Now you can refuse to pay and just keep building up the energy as far as I remember. But I think eventually you do have to pay. But bear it in mind, one turn 1, drop this, bounce it, get an energy. Turn 2, bounce it. Probably keep it in play on turn 2, but we'll see how it goes. But it's good fun anyway. Bristling build because we like the landfall, and chucking around some +1/+1 counters is never a bad idea. We have a sub-theme of proliferate, so Canker Bloom's here for the proliferation, although push, taking out an artifact or enchantment's annoying is not a bad plan either, but the proliferation to get the extra energy, very nice, thank you. Pollen Bright Druid, also does the same proliferate trick or chucks a +1/+1 counter around if we need it. Servant of the Conduit comes into play with 2 energy. We can tap it as a push and use the energy to get mana, but you're probably just going to use it as a mana battery charger type thing. Architect of the Untamed, landfall trigger, gets an energy when it comes into play, and then if you've got a whole load of energy, you can get 6/6 colourless beast artifact creature token if you need one. Azusa, Lost But Seeking, lets us play additional lands. Evolution Sage does the whole landfall and proliferate. Loot Exuberant Explorer also comes in for the extra land drops. The paying 6 mana Sorrow and Reveal in the top 6 cards of your library isn't a bad plan sometimes either. Nissa comes in for the landfall to give us mana. The second ability is not really going to matter, but it's there if we need it, but it's the landfall trigger we're really interested in. Pima Trailblazer. This is one of the new cards that comes in from the Living Energy Commander deck as well that you need to pick up for this deck. 2 and a green for a 3/3 Elephant Warrior with Trample. And whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, you get that many energies. So, if you hit someone who's got no defenders, you get 3 energy from it. And then you can pay 6 as once of the exhaust cost, one of the other abilities from the new Ether Drift set. And you get to put 2 +1/+1 counters on this creature, then draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control. From there, we go to Reclamation Sage to blow up those annoying enchantments and artifacts. Bristling Hydra comes in, gives us 3 energy, then we can pay 3 energy to put a +1/+1 counter and give it Hexproof if we need to. Pima Ether Seer enters the battlefield. You get an amount of energy equal to the greatest power amongst creatures you control, which I kind of like, to my point of view. Renata, Call to the Hunt, gives all our creatures an additional +1/+1 counter when they come in. Urban Daggertooth, when it's dealt damage, we get to proliferate. Another little way of building up our energy quickly. Rampaging Etherhood, another one that comes in from the Living Energy deck. 4 and green for a 4/4 Snake Hydra with Trample and Ward 2. And at the beginning of upkeep, you get an amount of energy equal to this creature's power. You then may pay 1 or more energy. If you do, put that many +1/+1 counters on this creature. It's very nice. I like this. I like the idea of paying 3 energy at some stage to make this a 7/7 and then get 7 energy every turn. It's just nice if you can build it up that way. Plus the trample's not bad either. Foreign Clicks is here just to find out get the forests and then distribute some counters and mill some cards when we can flip it over to the Grand Evolution. Behemoth the Vault Zero is also in from Fallout. Enters the battlefield, you get 4 energy, and when it dies, you may pay any amount of energy equal to target non-land permanent's value and blow it up. So, yeah, okay, 6/6 trample for 6 mana. Yep, happy with that. Lumara, Bellow of the Woods is in, just to give us those extra land draws that we need. Aetherwind Baska is also in. When it enters the battlefield or attacks, we get an energy for each creature we control. Then we can pay the energy to pump this up to a silly level to win the game. Cultivator Colossus, sorry, wrong card, there we go. Just so we can get the lands from our hand onto the battlefield and draw cards and repeat the process. Shriekwood Devourer, whenever you attack one or more creatures, untap X target lands where X is the greatest power amongst those creatures. Crater Hoof had to be here just for a big win condition, and we can pay the 8 energy instead of paying 8 mana if we need to. And same with Apex Devastator. Cascade, 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 Cascade. I think I said that 4 times. Paying 8 energy to pay this 10/10 for 10 mana is a lot better, especially with all the value you'll get off it. Nissa, Ascendant Animist is also in, because if we can hit the -7, we'll be very happy to get all those creatures +1/+1 for each force we control and trample until the end of turn. And then we have some spells. Attune with Ether gives us, and it goes and finds us a basic land, and then goes and finds us a forest basically, and it gives us 2 energy. Thirsting Roots for the Proliferate or the Land Search, depending what we need. Worldly Tutor to go and find one of the creatures we need to win the game, maybe at the end step before our turn. Finale of Devastation. Hopefully we can get this up to 10 quite happily. 12 mana is a lot to ask in this deck, but it's doable. And getting that creature into play and doing it that way is good. Ramp with Nature's Law, Rampant Growth and 3 visits. Unnatural Restoration that proliferates and returns something that's been killed off to our hand. Courage in Crisis, per +1/+1 counter on target creature, then proliferate. So, yeah, that's nice. Expand the Sphere also comes in. Look at the top 6 cards for our library. If we can't find any lands, we get to proliferate that number of times, or we get a couple of lands in play. So we end up ahead. Ranger's Path, Sky Shroud for the extra forests. And then finally, because of the creatures we're playing, Shamanic Revelation, so we can draw some cards and gain some life with some luck. Artifacts, not too heavy on the ramp for artifacts lands for this time, just for a change, but we have got Soul Ring and Arcane Signet. Contagion Clasp is here to put a -1/-1 on an annoying thing and then start proliferating. Detection Module just lets us have energy when creatures come into play under our control. Emerald Medallion to cut the cost of our green spells down. Moss Diamond to help us ramp a little bit more. Solar Transformer is also in. Colourless mana for tapping for 2 mana, or we can pay a energy and get a green if we're short of a green for some reason, but it does give us 3 energy when it comes into play. Woodweaver's Puzzle Knot, 3 energy and 3 life, and then we can sack it off for 3 energy and 3 life, so 5 mana for 6 life and 6 energy is a reasonable deal. Atheretic Amplifier comes in also from, I think, yeah, it was in Living Energy deck as well. Tap to add 1 mana, and then 4 tap, choose 1, activate only as a sorcery. Double the number of kind of each counter on target permanent, or double the number of each kind of counter you have. You are going to use this to double up your energy all the time for 4 mana. It's very good. Conversion Apparatus also comes in. 3 mana for 3 energy, and then we can pay 3 energy to get 3 mana if we need it to, but we'll see. It's probably going to be the first ability for colourless and the second ability for the 3 mana and 3 energy. We've got a few instants and sorceries, so it made sense to have Dynavolt in here just to give us some more energy as we play those. Sword of Truth and Justice makes an appearance. The pro-white, pro-blue actually helps in a green deck, especially the pro-blue side of it, but the dealing combat damage for a +1/+1 counter in a proliferation is pretty good. Aetherworks Marvel, yep, our stuff goes to the graveyard, we get energies, then we get to play things off top of our library for 6 mana. So, yeah. Panharmonicon, no-brainer. We've got enough things that come into play and generate energy. So, you know, if an artifact or creature entering the battlefield causes a triggered ability of a permanent you control to trigger, this ability triggers an additional time. Makes sense to me. Stone Idol Generator, we attack, we get energy. Okay. Aetherflux Conduit, the other card, I think. There's a lot of people very excited by this card. Whenever you cast a spell, you get an amount of energy equal to the amount of mana spent to cast that spell. Then you can tap it and pay 50 energy to draw 7 cards and then basically do Omniscience with them. Yeah. That sounds like fun. Contagion Engine does the proliferation for us twice and then puts -1/-1 counters on the biggest threat on the board with all their creatures. And then finally, Gonti's Ether Heart. All this or another artifact enters the plan to our battlefield. We get 2 energy, and then we can pay 8 energy to take an extra turn. Yeah, okay then. And we don't even have to sacrifice. Well, we have to exile the Ether Heart. So yeah, you can do it once, but you really want it there for the extra energy you can grow. Enchantments, not too many. Growing Rights for Idlamok should be fairly easy to transform. Sylvan Scavenging chucks around +1/+1 counters, all gives us raccoons depending on the size of the creatures we have. Tribute to the World Tree makes our creatures very big, or we get to draw cards. Guardian Project, because, you know, it's Commander at the end of the day, and we're always going to have none of our cards will have the same name in this sword deck, so we're always going to draw a card off here. And then Path of Discovery. We want to make sure we're doing the exploring tricks to get our lands into play. Now, speaking of lands, we're only playing 34. We might be a little bit light. It might be that we have to cut some of the bigger creature spells down, but I think because we're playing a mono deck, we'll be okay. So we've got Ether Hub for 1 energy on turn 1, and then Helios from 1 energy, you know, pay 1, get an energy. That's fine. Fallout's great. Khan's Bastion for the proliferation. Radical Tower, Temple of the False God, and Yavimaya, Cradle of Growth. 27 Forests. And Nykthos, because we are playing a mono-coloured deck at the end of the day, so we should be able to get a lot of mana off this. But there's my take on Nissa, the Worldsoul speaker for this week. This finishes this week's videos off. We're getting closer to the set coming, so not far away to start playing this. Do some more next week. I've got a couple of requests to go through as well next week, so it'll be a bit of a split the next week between Ether Drift decks and other things. But for now, thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you can. Come and follow me on Twitch. There's links to everything down below. There should be a subscribe button down here in the corner somewhere under my finger, I hope. And I really hope you can hit that button and help me out and help me grow the channel even more. But for now, thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you next week for some more fun and games on my channel. Take care. Bye.